Hey everyone, today I'm going to be showing you how to make empanadas from scratch. I'm going to be using beef, chorizo, and a bunch of farm vegetables. This is just a store-bought empanada dough we'll be using with some ground beef, garlic, onions, a green tomato, 2 sweet peppers, sweet potato, and cauliflower. So first we're going to peel and mince some garlic. Next, I'm going to dice about 2 cups of onions. I'm using really small onions right here, so I'm using about 5. But just have them, peel the skins, and then do a small dice on them. And you can combine it in the same bowl with the garlic. I've also cooked off 1 tube of chorizo. It's about 6 ounces, so you can cook that off while you're cutting everything and set it to the side. Next, I'm going to take the seeds out of my peppers and dice them as well. You want everything to be pretty small, seeing as we're going to be making a filling that goes inside empanadas. You don't want anything too big inside of there. So small dice your peppers. Set them to the side. Next, I'm going to be using sweet potato. This one is a huge sweet potato, so I'm only going to end up needing about 1.5 cups of diced sweet potato. So I'm just going to peel it, slice it, and dice it small. Also, the smaller it's cut, the faster everything will cook. Set that to the side. Next, I'm going to be quartering 1 green tomato. I'm just going to throw this into the filling for a little bit of acidity and a nice soft texture. Next, I'm going to use half of my head of cauliflower. I'm going to cut the base off, cut out the core, and then basically slice and then chop very finely the cauliflower. You want it nice and small. And then we'll set that to the side as well. To start our filling, we're going to first brown our beef. This is just 1 pound of ground beef. Get it in a nice hot pan with a little bit of oil. And cook it for about 5 minutes until it's lightly browned. This is actually a pretty lean grind that I have, so there's not a lot of extra fat. If you do have a lot of fat, make sure you pour it off before you add the rest of your vegetables. So I'm adding my onion and garlic, my sweet potato, and my cauliflower, and I'm giving that all a good stir. I'm going to let it cook down for about 4 minutes. Since these are the harder ingredients, you want them in first. Next, I'm going to add my diced bell pepper and my green tomato. Stir that in and cook it for another 4 to 5 minutes. I'm going to season it with black pepper, salt, garlic powder, and onion powder, and some smoked paprika. I'm also going to add in about a tablespoon of chipotles and adobo sauce. This will add like a really nice smoky pepperiness. You can leave it out, but I really like the flavor with the chorizo and the peppers. I'm also adding about 1 cup of dried cranberries. You can also add raisins or dried apricots. The sweet fruitiness is really good with the meat and the smokiness of it. I also added the chorizo in and 1 cup of stock and then cooked it down until the sauce has been reduced. At this point, we'll be ready to cool our filling down. You want it to be entirely cold before you start filling your empanadas. So for the doughs, they usually come between 2 wax paper sheets. Just peel them apart, set them on a cutting board, put about 1.5 cups of filling in the center, make sure it's cold. Then we're basically just gonna press the sides all together until they're closed. And then an extra step to keep it from exploding is to crimp it with a fork. Just be careful not to pierce the center part. You don't want any of the meat or juices coming out while you're frying or baking. So I'm going to show you another fold is to close it up the same way. Press all the sides closed. And then you can basically just crimp it with your fingers and you don't have to use a fork. It gives it a kind of a different look. So 2 different ways. They will both keep the meat all sealed. Just keep rolling until all your empanadas are filled. Here's a few different shapes I did so you can see the difference. Then we're going to cool them for at least half an hour before we fry them and let the filling come back together and let the seal on the empanada close. Then we're going to fry it for about 5 minutes until it's golden brown. Alternatively, you can bake them in the oven. If you do bake them in the oven, make sure to brush a little bit of oil on the bottom of the pan and on top of the empanadas and bake them until they're golden brown, about 20 minutes at 375. Frying is a lot faster and you'll get a more even golden color. So fry them until they're golden and then set them on a paper towel to drain. You can fry your whole batch. It'll only take a few minutes. And then, as you can see, the dough is nice and flaky. The meat is hot and juicy. And these are ready to eat just as they are, or with some hot sauce, some salsa, maybe some guacamole. But it's a really easy way to feed a bunch of people. You can also freeze these very well. Hope you enjoyed.